Today on the Philly Talk podcast, we are breaking down the Thursday night matchup, Eagles and Texans. And the Eagles actually have a chance with the win to do something no other Eagle team has done, and that is start 8-0. We break that down. We also break down Miles Sanders' pretty darn good season so far. And last but not least, I just want to give a huge shout out to a little boy named Logan. Happy 7th birthday.
This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking Sixers in the bird gang, that's our life. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, you know we showing up and we gon' fight. You see we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we screaming fly, Eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah.
What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk podcast. And today, we got a lot to get into. A short week for the Eagles to do something they have never done before. If you believe that this team could be the first team in franchise history to go 8-0, do me a favor, hit that like button. It's also free and greatly appreciated. Plus, ding the bell. We trying to grow notification gang. You know how YouTube is. Sometimes they take the bell away. So just double check that. And there's a link in the description so you can talk Eagle news behind the YouTube scenes with me and 335 plus great Eagle fans. Let's get into this before we break it down. I said this morning, sheesh. You know I love to say that. Eagles and Phillies are on fire. The Eagles advance to 7-0, and a little bit later, the Phillies last night take the 2-1 lead, beating the bricks off the Astros 7-0. 7-0, 7-0, it sounds good. You got Jalen Hurts playing at an MVP level, doing it gritty. You got Bryce, MVP on and off the field. Man, you gotta love it right now for Philly sports. The Phillies play tonight. I'll be tuning into that. Now, before we actually break Miles Sanders' seasons down and also talk about the Texans versus the Eagles, which we can't be caught sleeping in a short week. With the win tomorrow, like I've been saying, this will be the first time the Eagles franchise has ever been 8-0. Remember, this is only year 2 of Jalen Hurts / Nick Sirianni era. They're both young, coach, quarterback. Now, we're not going to act like the offensive line, the defensive line, the secondary, the wide receivers, A.J. Brown, Miles Sanders hasn't helped out. It's a total team effort. But Nick Sirianni questioned a lot when he was first named the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. And when we said we were going to go with Jalen Hurts, a lot of people didn't believe. And slowly but surely, he started to make believers. But would you still believe there's people out there that say he's not the guy? They're not saying they got to see more. They're already still saying he's not the guy. Just straight hate. This man has arrived to every challenge and has, in my eyes, just shown that he is the guy for Philadelphia. He's the guy for Philadelphia 100%. Off, on, fourth quarter, first quarter, one drive, rushing, passing. I believe he can get it done. Now, before we break this down, I also want to shout out Miles Sanders, a guy who we all thought wouldn't possibly be here after the trade deadline. He's not only here, he's a key contributor, and we didn't go out and sign a running back. Whenever we were talking about running back, it wasn't to say that Miles Sanders ain't good. It's we don't know his future. We don't know how good Kenny G, Boston Scott, and Trey Sermon can be if he goes down, which has been his past history. Knock on fake wood. But Miles Sanders so far, 114 attempts, 563 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a 4.9 yards per carry average. He's always around 5, and he's right there still lingering, 4.9. I believe this week, to get us to 8-0, Jalen can throw the ball around the yard. A.J. Devontae Goddard are going to eat too. But we just watched the Texans allow 300 plus to Tennessee. I'm not saying Sanders is Derrick Henry. He's not. But he's going to get busy. I believe this is going to be Miles' best game. And when it's all said and done, the 2022 season, if healthy, he will be a top 5 back. So the Eagles, among key free agents this upcoming season on the defensive side. We go over it like every other video. Garner Johnson, Bradbury, um, uh, TJ Edwards, Marcus Epps, Kaiser White. Miles Sanders now looks to be like, do you want to try to find a way to work something out? If he proves health, if he gets over 1,000 yards, maybe 1,100, 1,200, because that's what he's on pace for. Over 1,200. Think about it. This is in 7 games, 563. Double that, that's 14 games, and he's at 1,100 already. Add 2 more games, he's due to get over 1,200. His best season thus far. You know how the league feels about running backs. It's going to be a hard decision. The Kareem Hunt, the Jamal Williams, the David Montgomery wasn't to say he's not our number one guy. Even Kareem Hunt would have been second fiddle to one Miles Sanders. It's that 2-man punch. It's to keep all running backs more sturdy, more healthy. Because we're not talking about 17 games. We're talking about 21 games, 20 games. We're talking about getting to the Super Bowl, having these guys' legs right in December and January, not just October and November, December and January, and actually hopefully February when the Super Bowl takes place. So that's my take on that. Now, if you stay with me, shout out to all you guys. Y'all the real to the real. Let's get into the Texans versus Eagles breakdown. If I can pull up the first thing. Our offense versus the Texans defense. All right. So we ranked third in overall offense with 395.4. It went up 0.1 from last week to this week. Going against a defense that, if you can even call it a defense, of the Texans, that is 30th in the NFL. The Steelers were ranked like 28th. This defense is ranked 30th. They give up 403.6 yards per game. We should be able to do whatever we want. If you look how they give it up, they're 16th overall against the pass, so they're middle of the pack. But they are dead last in stopping the run. $186 allowed on the ground. Miles Sanders will take advantage of it. I can see the Eagles running him 20-plus times. In the Jaguar game, we ran him a lot. In the Cardinals game, we ran him a lot. And this might be a game that in the second half, run, booby, run, close this out, and put points on the board because they can't stop it. Now, when you look at the Eagles, right, their pass game is ranked 10th, 260. We could do that. We just opened it up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I don't believe we couldn't do it against other teams. We weren't handling the blitz well. Sirianni and Jalen Hurts fixed that correctly. And other teams were being gashed by us on the ground. So why stop something if it's working? This is a pick your poison offense. Whatever works, continue to let it work. Pass game was working. That's why Miles only ran the ball like 8 times last week against the Steelers. But we are 6 in rushing, 149. I believe this is the recipe for this game on a short week. Bully ball, run down their throats with our offensive line, Miles Sanders, Kenny G, Boston Scott. Hey, if you need to bring Trey Sermon up because we're going to run the ball 25, 35, 40 times, do what you got to do. Jalen Hurts will make the necessary throws. Like I said, they rank 16th in a pass defense with 228.4, but it's really their run defense is just non-existent. And I believe we can expose that big time in this matchup. Now, when you flip the script and you look at the Eagles defense versus the Texans offense, they don't do anything well. They're 31st in overall offense, not even averaging 300 yards per game, 288.7 compared to the Eagles' third in total defense, only allowing 298.1. We're 5th against the pass, and now we have dropped to 15th against the run. That's the one thing that keeps going backwards. And Jordan Davis is out for 4 to 6 weeks. The combination of Marlon T., Milton Williams, Brandon Graham going inside, maybe Robert Quinn sliding inside every once in a while, just the versatility on this line got us just mix and match because we went from 8th to 10th to 15th. We're slowly getting gashed more and more by the run game, and that's not a trend you want as it gets to the cold months where teams want to run on you. Now, if I do look at this Texans offense, Brandon Cooks might not play. He's still mad that he didn't get traded and didn't practice today for a personal reason. When you look at what they can do, passing 25th, 214, 26 in rushing, 92. The Russian, I think, is where they're going to try to attack the Eagles. One, because that's our weak spot. Y'all don't want to throw against Slay and Bradbury. No, 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 no. So they're going to try to run at us. If the Eagles get a 21-3 lead, it might take them out of their run game and make them pass, and that's when the turnovers happen. Sack, put pressure on Davis Mills, who's not the worst but not the best quarterback. Pressure him. But we got to start making an effort through the next couple weeks to stop the run, even without Jordan Davis. And Damon Pierce is their running back, and he's been coming on of late. That's why it don't fully look like it in their run game, because the Eagles' run game is not just Miles Sanders. It's a multitude of backs plus Jalen Hurts. The run game for the Texans is just Dameon Pierce, and he's came on strong as of late. He has about 500 yards on the season. He's pretty decent, but it hasn't translated into total overall rushes. Plus, he's not allowed to run that many attempts. Why? Because the Texans are always trailing. But if they're going to try to set the tone early on a short week and catch us slipping, it's going to be via the run. We got to nip that in the bud ASAP Rocky. With that being said, let me know your thoughts. I know Eagle fans all across the globe, whether you're in Philly, Cali, Montana, Nebraska, Australia, y'all be all over the place. Let me know how you want to attack the Texans. Let me know what you think about the Eagles 2022 team being the first team in franchise history to go 8-0. And if you agree with me, if you're happy with where we are, and Philly sport fans in general, do your boy a favor and hit that like button. Check the link out in the description. Subscribe, almost at 27K. And ding the bell. We gotta grow notification gang. Strong. Until next time, y'all. Oh, one more thing. It should be popping up right here. It should be popping up in a little bit. Right before I got on here, I saw a video on NFL Films where Devontae says that Zach Pascal is faster than A.J. Brown, and they argue on the sidelines. It was because A.J. Brown got caught from behind by Minkah Fitzpatrick. They were arguing on the sidelines who's faster, A.J. Brown or Zach Pascal. The video should be popping up here. Click it. I wanted to put it in here, but I forgot to clip the video. Now, if you watch that video first, hopefully after that video, you come here. I don't know. Until next time, you know what time it is. We out.